fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
What we gonna eat no money, what we at you, eat no at you. COVID money, miss away in the your little rat you. Use the youth, the money, waste a must a man to statue. Say me like a catch you, but bigger than a figure you. Take the script of money, girl, and say that it's not you. One day the man above end up, him a got a bet. Too much it in the kitchen, some a fly well like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me.
300% raise.
It burn me.
Garbage pile up the day.
It burn me.
Give the teacher them raise.
It burn me.
I see corruption face.
It burn me.
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me.
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me.
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me.
And them a sell out with beach.
Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scandal, we can't buy time. You can't fool me again. Can't fool me again. You can't fool me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't fool me again.
For me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The already promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth, them rap and they down in our fever. Member bowl money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me.
Or they treat the market man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the cat man.
It burn me.
Or they treat the peanut man.
It burn me.
Or them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me.
Or them a
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for we in Global TV. Check it.
Good afternoon from the London timeline to those of you on the Eastern timeline. Good morning and welcome to the Global Television Group. Thank you all for joining us this morning on a Sunday morning, the 27th of October. We'll come back out here to talk about our health care. Some would have it that when we speak about these things, it's propaganda. It's really not, because the experts are speaking. And I wish that what the experts from the United States doctors can speak on, or doctors in Jamaica can speak on that issue also with quite some loud voice. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning and welcome. Debbie Jarvis TV, Deb, Eat and Teach, Marcia Thomas, RJ, Sunshine. Long time no see Sunshine. Well, go on, everyone been asking for you. Sharon Bernard, Angie Reed, Jason Kane, Nin Miles, Karen DeMart, Carleen Jones, June Plum 26. Cousin Myrna, good morning. How are you doing? Carleen Jones, good morning and welcome. Thank you for joining us. To those on TikTok, good morning. On Facebook and on YouTube, good morning. Good morning. Our healthcare is in shambles. And I'm here, sister, three-head Juliet. And I'm here, sister, the expert who was unable to carry out their charitable act by performing free surgery on our children. Surgery that the Jamaica healthcare don't seem to be able to can provide. And when you get someone to come and help you, then it just fall apart. But Todian, the Prime Minister had big work on his hand. Big old work. The Prime Minister said there's a need to rebrand Jamaica. I don't know if we need to rebrand it before we start fix with healthcare, Prime Minister, because our healthcare is in a derelict situation. And a mere sister, these are not my words. Let us listen to what Jamaica need, said the Prime Minister.
Brand.
I know me, I make it up, you know. I know me, I make it up. The Prime Minister say, listen to the Prime Minister.
Refresh its brand. The Jamaica has to refresh its brand. The brand is probably our most important intangible asset that we have. If you consider what brings people to Jamaica, it is the allure of the brand. Our flag is probably one of the top 5 most recognizable flags in the world. I believe you would look at the United Kingdom, the United States, Brazil, and then Jamaica. That's how powerful our brand is. But we can't just leave it there and believe that the brand is going to always be powerful. It is going to always attract people. We can't just leave it there and believe that the brand is going to evolve and increase its capital without us being proactive and instrumental in determining what the brand means. And what has happened to us over the last 40 years as the brand is evolving is that it has started to mean things that could be detrimental to us. And so we have actually hired an international firm that does branding, driven mainly because the brand drives tourism. So that's a big part of why we have taken this kind of strategic approach to our rebranding. But there are other things that we need to do with our brand as well, which is to preserve the cultural value and the cultural assets that exist in Jamaica. We say we have this large creative industry, but we haven't really managed to monetize it. And we need to be able to properly identify it and define it. And so we're going through this process of rectifying, restructuring, redefining who we are as Jamaicans and what it means to be Jamaican.
Him serious, you know? Uno may not think him serious, but him serious. Wholeness so we have to rebrand Jamaica. But we have to go abroad, go look somebody for help rebrand Jamaica. I don't understand. All right, sir. You say I brand it for tourism. One of the reasons why it a brand for tourism. You mean to say up to now, when we are run such a plush tourist industry, we not understand how to brand Jamaica to international visitors. Is this Prime Minister for real? I mean, an international consultancy firm in Spain to rebrand Jamaica's international image? The Prime Minister is very serious with it, you know. Whoever helped him to dream it up and make it up, the Prime Minister is dead serious about this nonsense of rebranding Jamaica image. I don't know how you work those things out. I really don't know how that works, but the Prime Minister is taking your tax dollar to rebrand Jamaica's image so that those in the tourist sector can look on Jamaica and say, that look good at somewhere where we can follow. Didn't you remember, though, Prime Minister, that the American Travel Advisory warned they a fall down and a rolling a dot over? Do you remember The reason why one of their role in a dot, it was because America added the derelict health care and the risk to travelers' life should they need hospital care. That was what the wallering was about. So if you want to fix Jamaica's international image, start with healthcare now. Hmm? Because the tourists them want to know so when them come to Jamaica and if them should need medical help, they're visiting a country that has equipped medical institution. Don't you think that would be more sensible? Where you can use that on market and say, look at how good and how our healthcare have developed. Don't you think that would be a great marketing strategy to drive more tourism in Jamaica? Another thing, Prime Minister, because you haven't managed to furnish us with that for 8 years, a crime policy, Prime Minister, that would deal with the escalating crime in our country rather than the Zozo, the state of emergency, and the curfew. Because these are the policing method that your government use, Prime Minister. Zozo, SOE, curfew, and all sort. But what we have not seen in the last 8 years is a crime plan that will fight crime in a way where Jamaicans would feel safe at home and people visiting Jamaica will feel safe and people won't have to think that I cannot visit Jamaica because there's too much violence there or there's too much corruption there. I mean, those are the things, Prime Minister, that damage the international image of Jamaica. Corruption, Prime Minister, bad governance. I hope you tell Christopher Columbus, say, 'cause all the way to Spain, you go find somebody to help you rebrand Jamaica, you know. I hope Christopher Columbus can help you to fix the corruption, Prime Minister. And them something that make Jamaica image look bad, Prime Minister. The poor infrastructure of education, roads, hospitals, water, and all, and them something that make Jamaica international image look bad. Patricia Matthews, how you feeling? Those are the things what make Jamaica international image look bad. Because if people are to talk about Jamaica abroad in a bad light, Prime Minister, it's about crime. It's about corruption. It's about bad health care. It's about bad road, Prime Minister. What you think as a consultancy in a Spain, I go tell you for the Prime Minister if you're not doing a job at home. Don't care what a foreign consultancy firm in a Spain I go tell you to fix Jamaica image at home. Fix the crime, fix the bad road, and fix the derelict health infrastructure. Them something there and fix the corruption. Those are the things that make Jamaica look bad on the international scene. I guarantee you, if you improve in those areas, crime, corruption, bad health care, bad road, I guarantee you Jamaica image would look better on the international scene. So I don't know how Christopher Columbus picked them. I go help you to rebrand a Jamaica where you can't get a grip on crime. When you can't get a grip on corruption in a public offices and in a high offices. How is that going to change? The tourists them still are come to Jamaica and if them belly are paying them go to hospital and dead they just like we. And them something that you have to fix if you want to improve Jamaica international image abroad. We not too love the things on paper and act like say because we not do it on paper or talk it on TV without any implementation or any budgeting to support it, we necessarily believe when it's something goes so. The PR Prime Minister, the too much oversized PR is really distracting you from doing what you ought to be doing and what you have been elected to do. Too much PR. We tired of it. It not really work for we by coming and promising us bullcrap all the while and give us these fine and nice and dandy shandy argument. I mean, we're used to it. No, we're Jamaicans, you know. We're used to it. We've been getting it a lot, haven't we? It's not really new to it. I mean, well, because you push it up in our face every day, we're tired of it. We'd rather you all do the work than the PR and the optics want to turn up with in front of it all the time, which is quite unnecessary because nobody not paying attention to the PR and the optics. Look how much are we at Jamaica. You mean to say you can find no way in a Babsy can if you feel rebrand Jamaica's image. What you have Babsy there for? Babsy can put together a group of Jamaica for rebrand Jamaica international image. All right, you network with Babsy department and you work and you network with what the lollipop stick man face name? Sizzy. Ed Bartlett. Because you say you want to rebrand it for tourists, so you would want to have those two government and ministry networking, Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Tourism. Network them two together. And then when you look at the broader picture, Prime Minister, you would also want to draft national Ministry of National Security into it, because if you're doing a restructuring of Jamaica's image, you need all of those big players. How a consultancy firm from Spain when I understand anything both way, other than to come to Jamaica drunk, have sex, bathe in a sea, and enjoy themselves. What else? You know, see white people come to Jamaica, come to, sir? That uno take up Jamaica, give them to come fix after uno corrupt politician, both JLP and PNP taking mash it up. Make it make sense. Sandra Ellis. Make it make sense. After uno take the country, mash it up. Uno take taxpayer money, go pay Europeans to come rebrand Jamaica. I mean, I saw we dunce. I saw we back at time. That Europe have to rebrand we. Europe have to put we back on track. We take it and we mash it up and we spoil what Christopher Columbus and Elizabeth left give. We'll mash up Elizabeth and Christopher legacy and just say go Spain go get a consultancy firm to come fix what we mash up.
Refresh its brand. Jamaica has to refresh its brand. The brand is probably our most important intangible asset that we have. If you consider what brings people to Jamaica, it is the allure of the brand. Our flag is probably one of the top 5 most recognizable flags in the world. I believe you would look at the United Kingdom, the United States, Brazil, and then Jamaica. That's how powerful our brand is. But we can't just leave it there. and believe that the brand is going to always be powerful. It is going to always attract people. We can't just leave it there and believe that the brand is going to evolve and increase its capital without us being proactive and instrumental in determining what the brand means. And what has happened to us over the last 40 years as the brand is evolving is that it has started to mean things that could be detrimental to us. And so we have actually hired an international firm that does branding, driven mainly because the brand drives tourism. So that's a big part of why we have taken this kind of strategic approach to our rebranding. But there are other things that we need to do with our brand as well, which is to preserve the cultural value and the cultural assets that exist in Jamaica. We say we have this large creative industry, but we haven't.
To preserve the cultural values and the cultural assets in the entertainment industry. It's not a group of Jamaicans the Prime Minister commissioned to do that, The Prime Minister is consulting a consultancy firm in Spain to rebrand Jamaica's image. If this is not bullshit on steroid, then somebody else please tell me what it is, because this don't make much sense. It really does not. You're rebranding Jamaica, and you cannot get Jamaicans at home who understand with Jamaican culture, or Jamaicans in the diaspora who see and know how Jamaica is being seen abroad, Prime Minister. We live a foreign. We know how people is fascinated by Jamaica. We know what people tourist problem are, Prime Minister. Is crime, corruption, and healthcare problems, and bad road. Those are the standout when we in a Europe, and I'm sure those in America would hear those similarity as well. Those are the things that is not pleasing to people on the international scene, Prime Minister. The corruption, the crime, the bad road, and the bad hospital. Diane Campbell, what go on, my friend? Those are the issues. So don't make up the nonsense about Jamaica. So what you want to say? We mash up with Christopher and Elizabeth left give with Tanisha Ellis? Is the Prime Minister Colleen James saying to us that when Christopher Columbus and Elizabeth them left give we mash it up? So Andrew have to go back all the way to Christopher Columbus, picnic them. So come help we rebrand Jamaica. If this is not bullshit and steroid, you try to tell me what it is, because it don't make no sense. Because all I will live a foreign and talk to foreign people, whether black or white, we know what their problem is with Jamaica. With crime is the top feature. Corruption is one of them. Bad health care is one of them. The bad road is certainly one of them. So I don't understand how the Prime Minister don't understand how Jamaica is looked at on the international scene. When it comes to food, when it comes to a dialect, Prime Minister, everybody cuss bumbleclat and pussyclat. No matter who you be and what culture you are in this country, everybody cuss bumbleclat and pussyclat. Everybody want man. Everybody one love. We're respected like that. Or music, Prime Minister, or food, or dances. There's so much. Will you pick out the source of flag alone for Prime Minister? Will you pick out the source of flag alone for? Everybody want to act as Jamaican in any foreign country you go. Everybody know Bob Marley. Everybody know Usain Bolt. Everybody know Marcus Garvey, except for Uno we don't want to teach it. What Jamaica brand needs, Prime Minister, is for you all to curb the crime, for you all to curb the corruption, the bad road, and the bad hospital where American doctors are cry over. Those are the distressing and distasteful things about Jamaica internationally, Prime Minister. So don't go on like we mash it up. Because we remember say Uno and the gangster them a friend. Uno and the scammer them a friend. Uno bring in the drugs and all of the galang in them Congo. We remember that. I mean, I talk about just JLP, I talk about JLP and PNP. Is both of you have left our hospital and our roads and our light and our water to fall down over the last 8 years. And if JLP won, PNP is highly involved. They have one of the longest reigns in governance in this country. What have they done with it? They sell us out to the Chinese for very little. Very little. They sell us out to the Chinese for. But this government has no right, after 8 years, to complain about PNP failure, because you have 2 years to solder the wash pan for dig up tar off a road, chop chingum, and stop the leak. What have you done? You cannot continue when you have 8 years to patch the leak. You haven't dig a bit of tar off a road, come patch the wash pan. And then you attack the PNP left the wash pan for 8 years now for leaking. Haven't you been catching it and using it for 8 years now? And now you tell me that Jamaica needs rebranding. And what if you did ask we Jamaicans to help rebrand Jamaica? But look where you're going, Prime Minister, all the way to Christopher Columbus town. All the way to Spain to find a consultancy firm to rebrand Jamaica's international image. A dunce we done so. A backwards we backwards so. Where we create a culture out of oppression that the world admire. Prime Minister, where did you go to school, on your wholeness? You certainly have not grown up amongst us. Out of oppression, we have created a culture and envy to the world. And our Prime Minister in 2024 said we have to go back to Spain and ask the Spaniard to assist in rebranding Jamaica. How dunce of a Prime Minister walking around swinging a paid-for PhD honorary and don't know say I don't see anything worth use because it is not a PhD, it's an honorary doctorate. Honorary doctorate and PhD are two different things. You can walk and use honorary doctorate and I call it PhD everywhere you DLP dunce. All the way to foreign land for rebrand with. Why you don't put one hot iron in a fire, Prime Minister, and then you take your stamp pan with, and then we brand fine and done? Because you could just understand in that way. It depends on how dunce you are. You could just understand to put a hot iron in a fire and brand with it. This man always come up with some loose nonsense. Some loose nonsense the Prime Minister come with. Mr. John Eagle on TikTok. Good morning and welcome to Global Television. The Prime Minister always manage to just go to bed, dream up the things them and present it to the nation. And then you don't hear the news them at home talking about what madness is this for the Prime Minister to go all the way to Spain to look at a consultancy firm to rebrand Jamaica's international image. Does it really make sense? It really doesn't make sense. But the war within the healthcare continue. But Dr. Tufton claimed to say it is a system defect. And this was in relation to the debacle unfolding at Bustamante Hospital and Victoria Jubilee in relation to their air condition system and the non-usage of their theater because of those lacking services. This wasn't said by us, Dr. Tufton. This was said by Robert Brady.
Amazing people here at this hospital, the doctors, the nurses, the physicians, the residents, and we take great care of these kids. But there are some clear infrastructure issues here. Okay, I've been coming here for 20 years. There's some very clear infrastructure issues that need to be solved. You know, I made a request 2 months ago when we heard the air conditioning issues. I said we need to fix it, or you need to make accommodations somewhere else. Now the fact that they want to make accommodations, make the decision today to do it tomorrow, that's not right. That's not right for the patients. You know, and my request was ignored. So I think that if you know, this is the only children's hospital currently on the hospital in the island. We're probably the most technologically advanced Caribbean island in healthcare-wise. We have to be the gold standard. Our hospitals have to be the gold standard, and we have to. People come from other islands so we can take care of their children because we know that our healthcare system is good, and we have to maintain that. And so we have to go through the hospitals, make sure you're absolutely correct. The autoclave systems are working. You know, we can only do single instruments now. That's an issue. The air conditionings have to work, and we understand this is an old hospital. There's other things that we need to do to fix it, but these need to be addressed and fixed, and the money needs to go into helping these children. And I come here twice a year. I bring a whole team. We donate thousands of dollars of equipment because we want to help these people, and you guys have to put the infrastructure.
Now, this is a doctor who has been coming to Jamaica for 20 years, twice a year. For 20 years, Dr. Tufton, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, twice a year for the last 20 years. And what this doctor has identified and is telling us, Debbie Jervis, how you do? What this doctor has identified and is telling us that there has been a massive infrastructure failure, lack of development across the health sector for the last 20 years. Failure after failure. Both Fenton Ferguson and Christopher Tufton in the last 20 years have failed. If Fenton Ferguson had spent enough and invest enough in the healthcare, it couldn't broke down pan labor so in the last 8 years. I mean, the Labour Party has done badly over the last 8 years. But them never get a pristine hospital. Them get a hospital system, a healthcare system with lack of investment. This doctor knowledge of the infrastructure is 20 years. That's, you couldn't do how much PhD within that time, research time. You could have done a multiple PhD research within that 20 years. So I take his word seriously. He's not thinking about JLP or PNP. He's saying for the 20 years he has been coming here, there has been a massive infrastructure failure. It is getting worse by the day. It's not improving. This is why his 12 to 17 surgeries that they've normally done, when them come, it's only minimized down to 5. That means children go longer on the waiting list, suffer, and wait to have their surgery done. But a government in power for 8 years have no excuse, none whatsoever, none. Because 8 years, you can do a massive turnaround of a lot of things. 8 years with billions misappropriated and accounted for could have done a lot in our health care. Christopher Tufton said, money I know we problem, tell them say no. Go and go buy some new air condition, Dr. Tufton, because the children them need to have them surgery and the theater them need to work, Dr. Tufton. The theater them can't out a service for so long. If money is not our problem, Dr. Tufton, why are you letting the children suffer? If money is not the problem, Dr. Tufton. Kathy on TikTok, how you doing? How you doing? Tash, how are you? If money is not our problem, why are you allowing the children to suffer? Why don't you buy some new air conditioned unit, Dr. Tufton? So the surgery, the operating theater at Bustamante Children's Hospital can work to full capacity, Dr. Tufton. If money is not our problem, why allow the children to suffer? That is my biggest problem. And we are learning and should know as well that Bustamante do surgery for only Jamaican children. It's like the Caribbean Children's Hospital or Specialist Children's Hospital. It should be our pride and joy, Prime Minister. The money where I go take rebrand Jamaica, take it invest in a Bustamante air condition so the theater them can work. The money will be much well spent. We will see where the money go there so. But when you don't have cowboy complain with the air condition and then one turn around blame Geddes for it. But let's get into the war because we have to remind Christopher of the lie and the blunder when it come to the nation with after he has failed miserably to do his job as health minister, something he doesn't have knowledge, experience, or qualification in. But anyway, brown girl in the ring, cha-la-la-la-la, him get the job.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands and online at onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has sought to clarify the circumstances surrounding the case at the Bustamante Hospital for Children who's in need of surgery for scoliosis.
Now, the surgery was delayed because of poor conditions at the hospital.
And as Jamila Maitland reports, although the child has been referred to the University Hospital of the West Indies, there's still no definitive timeline on when she'll receive the corrective procedure.
11-year-old Anjani Parchment will have to bear the discomfort of her scoliosis a while longer before she's able to live a normal childhood. Her surgery was postponed at the Bustamante Hospital for Children because the operating theater is not up to standard. It doesn't have a functioning AC unit, making it too hot for surgeries. But during a press briefing Thursday morning, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the procedure can be facilitated elsewhere.
The university.
Wanna hit the like button, please, no, my people. Wanna hit the like button, no? A Sunday, I don't want peace on Sunday.
Hospital of the West Indies has consented, based on discussions and with the lead clinician there, Dr. Carl Bruce, having consulted with his team at UIC to make an operating theatre available.
The issue is the doctors who are part of a mission from the United States leave the island in 24 hours. Fighting back the tears is Dr. Robert Bradley, who heads the team. Sadly, he says it's too late.
They want to make accommodations, make the decision today to do it tomorrow. That's not right. It's not right for the patients.
The health minister declared that Ajane will do her surgery. He wasn't able to say when. It's what worries Ajane's mom. Dr. Bradley and his team performs the surgeries for free. He revealed that the team usually does between 12 and 16 corrective surgeries during their visits. This time, they were only able to do 5.
In regards to my daughter's surgery, I still don't have any clue whether it's going to be done or not.
A visibly upset Dr. Tufton describes it as a perennial problem. The multi-million-dollar high-functioning operating theaters are seemingly not functioning.
I've asked for a draft terms of reference to engage a private entity to coordinate the overall maintenance of the plant of a health facility.
CEO of the hospital, Anthony Wood.
We have 5 operating theaters. Of the 5, 2 are presently 3 works, but one of them have high condensation taking place right now. 2 actually not functional.
One has been out for how long?
Many years.
And that's the other thing.
Dr. Tufton explained that a company was contracted to repair.
Thank you very much, Yard Night. Thank you.
Another company has since been brought in, but the problem remains.
The company that supplies the service has been at it for 5 months without resolution. And then we engage another one who said they can fix it, and in fairness, were prompt to assess, but now has bureaucratic hurdles based on their own internal arrangements. And now we're stalled again for 6 more weeks.
TVJ News observed the leadership of the Southeast Regional Health Authority speaking with the senior doctors about the issues they're experiencing. We understand that surgeries like Ajane's that require more than 4 hours pose significant risk for infection. The hospital, however, says it reviews and provides treatment on a case-by-case basis. Jamila Maitland, TVJ News.
But before we go on even further to expose Dr. Tufton lies, because all of what Dr. Tufton sat down there telling you was misinformation and lies, shirking his very own failed responsibilities. Dr. Brady has much more to say.
There's some amazing people here at this hospital. The doctors, the nurses, the physicians, the residents, and we take great care of these kids. But there are some clear infrastructure issues here. Okay, I've been coming here for 20 years. There's some very clear infrastructure issues that need to be solved. You know, I made a request 2 months ago when we heard the air conditioning issues. I said we need to fix it, or you need to make accommodations somewhere else. Now the fact that they want to make accommodations, make the decision today to do it tomorrow, that's not right. It's not right for the patients. You know, and my request was ignored. So I think that if you know, this is the only children's hospital currently on the hospital in the island. We're probably the most technologically advanced Caribbean island in healthcare-wise. We have to be the gold standard. Our hospitals have to be the gold standard, and we have to. People come from other islands so we can take care of their children because we know that our healthcare system is good, and we have to maintain that. And so we have to go through the hospitals, make sure you're absolutely correct. The autoclave systems are working. we can only do single instruments now. That's an issue. The air conditionings have to work, and we understand this is an old hospital. There's other things that we need to do to fix it, but these need to be addressed and fixed, and the money needs to go into helping these children. And I come here twice a year. I bring a whole team. We donate thousands of dollars of equipment because we want to help these people. And you guys have to put the infrastructure.
A doctor who has been coming for 20 years, twice a year. No matter how much up Fenton Ferguson left it, Christopherton, if you had invested in the healthcare, it couldn't have flattened on its face like this, where the doctor can't manage to do the amount of job that them used to do when them come. This is a massive failure. Should Christopherton survive another blunder? Should Christopherton continue to put the children of Jamaica life at risk? Remember the dead baby them Tufton? Remember the dog with the baby bone in her mouth? Dr. Tufton, remember the bad rice. Should Dr. Tufton survive another blunder while putting the lives and the health of Jamaican children at risk? Dr. Tufton say no money are the problem. Christine Gilbert, how are you? Dr. Tufton say no money are the problem, but Dr. Tufton opted to allow our children to suffer. Stitch lip doctors. Me know say Dr. Carl Bruce love thump in our mouth when on talk, but run out with the bloody mouth and talk, ball out say, Dr. Bruce, Dr. Carl Bruce, the friend of Dr. Tufton, just thump me palm my mouth. Uno cannot stay so silent in this disgrace. Because if foreign doctor will come to Jamaica 2 times a year, identify a derelict infrastructure, uno dede we swim and roll in it. What? On a lip stitch? You think if you hold on to come together, Dr. Carl Blight can thump the whole on up on the mouth? We are aware that Dr. Carl Blight is very violent. And Dr. Tufton and the government and the police force refuse to do anything to Dr. Carl Blight, the neurosurgeon at UWI. But uno can't be bullied into silence. Uno can't bullied into watching uno patient die or lack of care because uno afraid of Dr. Carl Blight and Dr. Christopher Tufton. The health workers across Jamaica need to start speak up. Uno working condition bad, and the overall facility is horrendous for patients. Uno no feel shame. Say doctor come from foreign, come call out the derelict health service won't have buckle under day by day. It's a failure. He did not manage to do the amount of surgeries that he normally does when he comes into the country. It's a massive failure of Dr. Tufton and his entire team. But let's remind you of the war of words between Dr. Tufton and Geddes Refrigeration, where Dr. Tufton I blame say, I them don't know how to fix this, and them don't, them can't do that. But then Dr. Tufton pitted out and the pit never dry before Dr. Tufton get exposed for the lies.
Mr. Tufton claimed that Geddes Refrigeration Limited was terminated from its contract under the Program for the Reduction of Maternal and Child Mortality PROMAC at the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. The minister said Geddes was replaced by CAC, another company, which he said had been relieved of their duties under a similar project at the Children's Hospital.
Victoria Jubilee Hospital has a maternal intensive care unit under the Promax system. That's the one of all of them that's not working. Why? Because of central air conditioning system. For 2 years, Getty's Refrigeration has been given the job, the task to repair or to put in that central system. Am I wrong? This is the regional director. 2 years. System can't fix. Not a lack of money, not a lack of decision, can't fix. We fired them, and CAC, say what that was fired here, has now been hired. You know, have a lot of options. Now I ask you the question. Where does the burden lie? And at what point are we going to call out some of these things? The conversation is that the hospital and the health system is incompetent because you have an operating theater that's not working because the AC is down.
Dr. Tufton's comments seem to shift the blame for the stalled surgical operations as a result of non-functioning air-conditioned units to the private contractors. But Dane Lafayette isn't having it. He tells Nationwide News that his company successfully installed the units at VJH in the 2020 to 21 period. He says the units operated efficiently for over a year without issues, despite not having performed any maintenance services. He says his company repeatedly submitted maintenance proposals to the ministry, but was never formally engaged to carry out repairs or maintenance on the unit in question.
As far as I know, since
Breaking news. Brown girl in the ring, you ask the question, who does the responsibility lie with? Shocking news for you. It lies with your incompetency, Dr. Tufton. Anybody never pat you on your shoulder and tell you, say, after 8 years, and you ask for the responsibility lie? I mean, oh, God help Jamaica. We're really on the right path. Down. The right path down.
we have installed the equipment, Getty's Refrigeration Limited has never been engaged for maintenance services, despite repeatedly sending the maintenance proposals or having meetings with the team of Southeast Regional Authority. As far as I know, we have never been formally engaged to execute any repair, and we are unable to restore any unit to operation that it has reached the position that we were fired or terminated. Everyone in my organization understands the importance of hospital services. If there's a report of equipment not operating or functioning properly, my team responds within 3 hours or less. The assessment is carried out, the necessary costing to effect the repairs is provided to the region, and we cannot effect the repairs if we are not engaged or formally instructed to.
Lafayette notes that the only problem ever reported involved a temporary cooling failure, which he said was promptly resolved. Referencing work on other units over the years, Lafayette says on the occasions his company was engaged to carry out repairs, it found the units to be in poor condition.
Over the years, I've had repeated meetings with the region, advising them of the need to maintain the equipment, because each time we are called, the equipment is in a despicable state. That's the only word I could use to describe it. And it should be noted, that in many instances, when we are finally engaged after a period of weeks or months, the state in which we left the equipment after we assessed it for repairs is not the same. The unit is either scrapped or we find that other people have been working on the equipment. And this has always been communicated to the respective personnel. So it's just quite concerning to hear the minister's pronouncement on radio. It's always important for the minister or anyone to listen to their team members, but it's also important to listen to your service providers as well, and also make an effort to bridge the gap.
Ricardo Brooks for Nationwide News.
Victoria Jubilee Hospital.
Brown girl in the ring. How did Christopher Tufton get this job? How did Christopher Tufton get this job? Andrew, can you answer this question? Who will be the next finance minister? You or your three-head wife? You are your three-head wife, Prime Minister. It's about time now. Nigel goes tomorrow. Or tomorrow when Nigel will go. But Nigel is going in the week. The Easy Jerk World, Wagwan, Darty Elliott. Who will be the next finance minister? Is it you or your three-head wife? It's as simple as that. I think it's time now for the country to know, because Somebody have to go into that office immediately, Nigel. Leave. That's not an office, Prime Minister, that you can leave vacant or hanging. So we want to know which one of the teeth you take up, put over there. If a favor will read slower and worse than me, or if a Matthias Samuda will thief and fraud him way into Parliament, we just want to know who. Who will be the next Minister of Finance? It's an important post in our government. But let's listen a bit to Mark Golden and Christoph Tan. I swear I don't understand when Christoph Tan or Andrew Holness. Hey, murder. Oh, no, it's a big war over labor. Oh, this slipped me. Big old war over labor. I mean, splash war, you know. Colonel Charles to data. It is said, hey, I told me not play them sinting pan ya. But they say Colonel Charles to data, the chief vlogger for the Labour Party, say Colonel Charles to data a work against Andrew. Hey, Colonel Charles Jr., out of you and Michelle, who wear a tighter waist chain, may I ask? Go ask the people them where call on a name, don't go ask me. But me is a Colonel Charles too nasty gal a fight against Andrew. So me here. So big old bangarang in the Labour Party in a silence. Show at party, cause it soon reach a road. I just want to frig with Everard Warmington on we ear ditto. Tell them to frig with Everard Warmington. I hear one on. To just talk too hard. Cause I want Andrew's secret to come out. Sack Tufton if you're bad. Tufton is a massive failure, Andrew. If you want to see your government crumble, sack Tufton if you're bad. You're a sitting duck minister, prime minister. Any one of your cabinet member can shoot after you if you move left or right. I dare you to sack Tufton. And I dare you to temper ever. You hear when Nigel Clark come out and tell we were there? We're afraid of Everard Warmington so much. So behind behind policy and everything and ethics, we have to agree with Everard Warmington gibberish in a parliament if we don't get in a problem. What did Nigel Clark not say that? Did Nigel Clark not say that? The shinehead gal, hey, shinehead gal. The shinehead gal over the Labour Party, one deputy leader. No, sir. Then look here. The shinehead gal really thinks that Jamaica people don't vote for him, beat and teach? Talk truth. Colonel Charles Nasty shinehead gal. Think nobody would really vote for she? I doubt that. But I didn't own people across them, you know. I didn't own friend and company, I didn't own vlogger across them. So the war were brewed in the Labour Party. Uno soon say the war reach a road. Labour a hog chuck. They can come beat me. A two. Me soon a drive past me all the while. Labour hog chuck. And believe you me, hog. Why you think Kenny and Oral them rather thief cow and goat more than hog? Because the cow and the goat will go humbly with you most of the time. The hog will make a lot of noise and resist and push back because him a hog like a Labour. It soon fall off of the truck. Don't care how you see them a go on to hold the peace. Them can't hold it. Because what they have realized is that Andrew Holness has collapsed the Jamaica Labour Party. And Andrew Holness stubborn and don't want to go. But then again, if Andrew go, what's there to take over? The shinehead gal? No, sir. the Labour Party really into a pickle. The Labour Party really into a pickle because see what they could even buy enough vote to put Matthew Samoda in a representative. Let's listen to Mark Golden and the Dull Tufton
program. Firstly, I note in relation to question 2, which was to do with the doctors and nurses who have been trained under the PROMAC program and how many of them have left the health system. You couldn't give a definitive answer today, but you did admit that there has been some amount of attrition and so on. And I was wondering, my impression is that there is actually a fairly serious issue with a lack of doctors and nurses available for these high dependency units. And I was wondering why the government has not sought to bring in specialists from Cuba to address this specifically, because there have been instances in the past where specialists from Cuba have been brought in to address those kind of shortages. So I was wondering why that hasn't happened in this particular area. The other question I have, or the next question I have is in relation to question 3, to do with ambulances. And you indicated that there are 58 working ambulances across the regions now. And my question to you is this. How many of these 58 ambulances are actually used to transport patients? Because we're aware that ambulances are also used to transport supplies and hospital personnel. So how many of these 58 is actually available for transporting patients who need to be transported? In relation to question 7 and your answers to that, which is to do with the increase in maternal mortality rates, especially in the Southern Regional Health Authority. My understanding is that it's actually St. Elizabeth where this problem has been concentrated. And I wondered, you had said that there didn't appear to be any particular issue in Southern versus the other regions, but I think in St. Elizabeth, there was a particular spike which wasn't seen in Manchester or Clarendon. And I was wondering if you could find out why, what is the thinking as to why that would have occurred in St. Elizabeth, especially in 2021, where there was a noticeable spike. Also, in 2001, some 23 years ago, thereabouts, the maternal mortality rate in Jamaica was 89 persons per 100,000 live births. And in 2019, it moved from 89 to 163, nearly double, and that's pre-COVID. And in 2021, it had moved up further from 163 to 211 per 100,000 live births. So 89, 20 odd years ago, and in 2021, it moved up to 211 women, mothers dying in giving birth. And the trend really started in 2019, where that spike to 163 occurred. And I'm asking, why is this so? You know, PROMAC was initiated in 2013. It was a 5-year program, so it would have ended roughly in 2018, and should have caused a significant reduction in maternal mortality, yet we had this spike, which started in 2019 and intensified in 2021. And I was wondering, Minister, if apart from perhaps providing an explanation for that, if you could also indicate what were the rates of maternal mortality in Jamaica in 2022 and 2023. We don't have that data, but maybe you have it. And similarly, what were the rates of infant mortality in those 2 years, 2022 and 2023? And I see you're taking notes. I'm grateful for that, Minister, so you can answer the questions. And I was going to ask, with the situations that are on the ground, we have non-functional ventilators and we have some scrapped ventilators around the place. We have some broken elevators at Victoria Mutual and in Otter Bay. We have operating theatres without working air conditioning units at Bustamante, and I think you mentioned there's a situation there, and Savlamar as well, Public General Hospital. I am told there are 6 out of 7 anaesthesis machines have broken down at UWI University Hospital, West Indies,
So I'm
in
going
this
to
month
answer to the
alone.
last set of
We have
questions.
ambulances at Cornwall Regional that cannot respond to emergencies because they aren't roadworthy. We have broken CT scans and X-ray units at KPH. We have broken theatre equipment at St. Anne's Bay Hospital. And we have a lack of working sterilization equipment island-wide, forcing this to be cancelled because of unclean instruments and drapes. Can you indicate whether there's a central problem of poor maintenance of equipment within the health system, manifesting in several ways and impacting patients across the island? Because those features that I just mentioned, which are happening now, so to speak, do indicate a very severe problem. And is there a comprehensive maintenance plan? You've indicated that there's a policy, a new approach to maintenance policy, but what about the actual delivery of maintenance? The actual work that needs to be done to maintain, which has been delegated to the regions, but is that functioning? What I've said indicates that there are problems, and is there a comprehensive maintenance plan? And if so, when will it be announced? And the last question I have is the HMFU. Is it only tasked to monitor biomedical equipment across the regions? Which entity in the Ministry of Health monitors maintenance programs for elevators, central AC systems, and major electrical equipment such as generators and transformers, as opposed to biomedical equipment, which I think the HFMU is primarily focused on? Those are my questions, Minister. I don't know if any of my colleagues have any.
Brown girl in the ring now.
I'm just referring to the standing orders because I found that substantial questions were already asked, and I'm not.
Juliet, if you look upon a standing order before she can permit if Tufton need to answer my golden question. Brown girl in the ring, cha la 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 la. Oh yeah, brown girl in the ring, cha la 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 la.
Not necessarily hearing additional questions being asked for clarity. So I am gonna, as I said, opposition leader, I was just consulting the standing.
She make sure, say, based on what she has said, it sounds like Mark Golden asked a few more additional questions for clarity than what was previously asked. So, if the few more clarity questions never come in, he would have tell Minister, you don't have to answer the question. Cha la 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 la, you don't have to answer. Cha la 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 la.
Orders. Okay. So, Minister, you may now respond. I see the mic on the member from St. Mary Central. Seems to have a question as well.
Thank you for the guidance, Madam Speaker. Always appreciative. And you're correct. Some of these questions will require a written response. I don't have some of the data that you've asked for, but just to quickly run through attrition and the importance of having the people. You're right. You're correct. I mean, you're only repeating what we have said. Yes. In fact, a team was in Cuba last week, actually adding to the recruitment. We have over 300 Cubans here, but we're going beyond that, and I've spoken about that. We're going to the Philippines. We're talking to Nigeria. We're looking at speaking to India. The CMO is expected to be in the Philippines next month. So we are going to have to come to terms with a reality that we face, which is that we cannot train our people fast enough for them to be recruited elsewhere. And the more special.
Hey, Dr. Tufton. This is where Nigel Clark come in, Dr. Tufton. If you dare invest in the healthcare, Dr. Tufton, And Nigel Clark did I pay them the money where them deserve, Dr. Tufton. You think we would have end up in this crisis where we are run to Nigeria, India, Philippines, Bangladesh, and all sorts of regions to find doctors? When you walk around intensive care and the health care in Britain, and I'm sure it's quite so in America, some of the biggest specialists, intensive care nurse and doctor, them are Jamaicans. I know that, Dr. Tufton. Them run away because uno fail to pay them. Just like we teach them a pack up and run like a bad, and them a run to Dr. Tufton. It's a payment and working condition. It's the Dr. Tufton. So when you take the low currency doctor them from abroad and health worker them from abroad, Dr. Tufton, them a go come same way, come back up on the same bangarang because they have to come here compare rent. And them have to come here come name good economy management like we. So it a go cost them, Dr. Tufton. And them a go say, me left so far, come over yonder, and me can't send back home the money, Dr. Tufton. It's a wage and working condition. It's the Dr. Tufton. And that's the problem. And that you feel to solve.
Specialized they are, is the more they are recruited and offered all sorts of incentives, which is why we had the Barwin Scholarship to try and bond and hold some people back, at least for a period. So we can't argue on that. We have to join hands together and make it work, especially given the new capacities that we're expanding on. And Cuba will be and is one of the critical areas, but not only. The 58 ambulances and their purpose, we have given strict instructions that they should be confined to people movement. Now, I cannot say with absolute certainty that there isn't some breach at some point, because to do that would be to be monitoring them. No, ambulances, well, staff to the extent that they are needed to support a patient that is in the ambulance, but not beyond that. In fact, I will say, last week, as we opened the Adelphi Clinic, we also unveiled 4 maintenance vehicles, Toyota vans, equipped with storage and so on, as part of the new dispensation to transition from the temptation to use the ambulances to transport either equipment or people without a patient. And last week we did that for the Western region. It is a discussion that will take place for the other regions. So we are working against that, and I don't think it is very common. The mortality rate in St. Elizabeth, I'll take a look at that. I can't comment, so that will be one of the written responses. But I know that the region and the ministry would have assessed and determined where the problems were, but I will be more specific on that once we get back to the data. Similarly, so the data on 2020 and 2022.
Asking yourself this question: when last on us Christopher Tufton, before in the week, yeah, when last on us Christopher Tufton in our parliament to do anything, and then Christopher Tufton come in a parliament and him coming there without the information when to answer to. You know, remember when the hurricane in Florida by crack of dawn before daylight, the governor of Florida can come out and give you precise information because his team across the state of Florida update him and all the information we need to know. And Chris Tufton health region them, Chris Tufton come a parliament, come answer question and don't take the information and the update from the different health region when they answer questions from a parliament. When you see the boy I take things to joke, him no serious about nothing.
And 2023, I'll provide that information also. The data you gave 20 years ago as opposed to now, I think I've sufficiently or tried to respond to that. Some of that would have been the last few years. COVID would have influenced some of that. The PROMAC program was not given an opportunity to prove itself because of the intervention of COVID. And I think we have to account for that also. Remember now, and we did say, some of those facilities were converted to be used as ICUs for persons suffering from COVID in an advanced state. So I think we have to accept that during those 3 years of COVID, there is an anomaly in terms of the concentrated focus. I know for St. Anne's Bay and Spanish Town, we had more adults there than children, and that was because of the priority on saving lives and using those equipment. So I think that could be one of the explanations, but not necessarily the entire. I'll get that information. The ventilators, you were asking about.
Yeah, you know.
Right. So as I've said in my response, member, we have to take a different approach, and we are taking a different approach. So the HMFU is going to dictate policy around all of these things, and that policy will filter down to the regional authorities for implementation, with the HMFU providing some sort of oversight. That's the vision. There's a lot of change management that's required in the expansion of our health facilities. We have to get people to think differently. I keep saying that modernization is not transformation. Transformation has to take place up here. People have to recognize the need for routine maintenance and so on, and that's what we're working on or working towards. It's not going to be easy, but the intention is to do that and apply to all. Your final question, I want to say has a little bit of mischief in it, and I don't want to be tempted to respond to a question based on false assumptions. You gave a whole shopping list of all sorts of problems. Until I can verify that those problems do exist, it would be wrong of me and misleading to respond. So maybe you can provide me with a written set of problems that you have identified. But that long shopping list to me sounds more that embedded in there somewhere is some mischief for me to answer what I don't know.
All right, Minister, let's just solve the mystery. Audit. Audit, Minister. Brown girl in the ring. You are the minister, and you should want to know. Audit, Minister. Audit. Audit, Minister. Audit. That is how you would find out if the things that were Mark Golden say is true, Minister. Audit, Minister. Audit. Transparency. Audit. Openness. Audit. Damn fool. Audit. You, Mark Golden, don't need to send you a list. Just do an audit. It is your department. Are you dunce around the healthcare? Baka class, Jamal boy. Do an audit. All right? In case you never know. Now you've been told. Do an audit and you will find out. You're too dunce. Everything you just come out with a whole bunch of wallywoods without taking responsibility. And then you think to say, there's anything to laugh about or whatever is happening is laughable because you don't have no shame. That's why you can't even think about laughing at a grave failure. A failed institution. Failure after failure after failure. And the government want people to walk and sing its praises and tell me how the country are going in the right direction. If the country is going into a right direction, how come Spain have to come rebrand a country going in the right direction? Want to make them something that makes sense, no? Make it make sense. The country is moving in the right direction, but you still have to get your foreign master them to come rebrand your image. I mean, a country moving in the right direction. Just continue to move in the right direction and that will improve your image. Don't you think it would work like that? Me tired and fed up. Me tired and fed up because every time Labour politician open their mouth, a big one old bag of butuism come out of it. It don't make much sense. Trust me. Uno may think it makes sense because uno try to fool who uno can fool. It don't make no sense. But I'm going to hope the people of Jamaica can once more hear what Dr. Brady said and stand up and demand development in our health care because uno are going to suffer Jamaicans.
There's some amazing people here at this hospital. The doctors, the nurses, the physicians, the residents. And we take great care of these kids. But there are some clear infrastructure issues here. Okay, I've been coming here for 20 years. There's some very clear infrastructure issues that need to be solved. You know, I made a request 2 months ago when we heard the air conditioning issues. I said we need to fix it, or you need to make accommodations somewhere else. Now the fact that they want to make accommodations, make the decision today to do it tomorrow, that's not right. That's not right for the patients. You know, and my request was ignored. So I think that if you know, this is the only children's hospital currently on the hospital in the island. We're probably the most technologically advanced Caribbean island in healthcare wise. We have to be the gold standard. Our hospitals have to be the gold standard, and we have to. People come from other islands so we can take care of their children because we know that our healthcare system is good, and we have to maintain that. And so we have to go through the hospitals, make sure you're absolutely correct. The autoclave systems are working. You know, we can only do single instruments now. That's an issue. The air conditionings have to work, and we understand this is an old hospital. There's other things that we need to do to fix it, but these need to be addressed and fixed, and the money needs to go into helping these children. And I come here twice a year. I bring a whole team. We donate thousands of dollars of equipment because we want to help these people, and you guys have to put the infrastructure.
There's an important part where he says the money have to go into helping these children. The money have to go into helping our children. Take that to the bank and sleep on it, Dr. Tufton. And while you're at it also, make sure an audit is commissioned for the hospitals across the country. Thank you very much for being here with us this morning on the Global Television Group. We have given you a whole week of backgrounds. Not even our weekend we didn't take off because the law goes no higher than the health of the people. Public health, the health of the people, is the highest form of the law. And therefore, Dr. Tufton, with his criminal actions within our health care, has drawn me out for the entire weekend. Thank you very much, and good afternoon from the Global Television Group. Join us tomorrow morning for the At a Glance program, which will be 1 a.m. UK time, and work it out in your Eastern time. Thank you, and good afternoon from the Global Television Group.
We don't feel comfortable sitting in Parliament with a Minister of Government who has openly accepted responsibility, who expresses no regret for the act, where a Commissioner of Parliament has confirmed that the act is corrupt and has referred it for prosecution, and that Minister shows no sign of wanting to resign, or the Prime Minister showing no signs of moving to dismiss the Minister.
With all the sympathy that one can have for support, This is embarrassing, not only to the government as a party, not only the PNP, but to the government, to Jamaica, to all of us. Our heads bow this morning with this sort of reaction to it.
So we have to take firm actions in this regard. It is a dark day for Jamaica, where the Prime Minister is unwilling or afraid to act against a minister in which the public has lost total confidence and in which the institutions of the society are all agreed that this person does not enjoy their trust or faith and has breached the confidence that the people have placed in them. I believe that this has the potential, if it continues, to bring down the entire government.